Hey baddies, it's your girl Sham and I'm back with another video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you could be a baddie too. Now let's get into the video.
You got me twisted. You got me twisted.
Alright you guys, so I was supposed to do a vlog this week. My camera is getting on my nerves. To make a long story short, I was filming this video that I now have to refilm. My camera said it was out of storage, so I started deleting footage, not remembering that some of the footage was vlog footage that should have gone up today. So I just wiped the camera, forget the vlog, because I deleted half of the footage anyway. I don't feel like going through the struggles of trying to recover it. So I'm just gonna film this video and post it in its stead. So a couple of disclaimers. First and foremost, I really don't want to talk about the situation. I'm at a point with my relationship with this person that I just don't care anymore. And I feel like me talking about the situation is just like giving this person more attention than they deserve. However, I need 99 more subscribers and a lot more watch hours to get monetized, okay? And you people on YouTube love a good messy story time, and I would love some more watch hours and some more subscribers. So in a trade-off, I'm gonna go ahead and tell the story. The second kind of disclaimer, obviously it's a family drama story. Some people subscribe to the idea that things that are about the family should stay within the family. I'm not one of those people. If we're actually like good family, then of course I'm not gonna blast you on the internet, and I'm really not even trying to blast this person either. I'm gonna try to protect them as much as possible, as far as like I'm not gonna name drop or anything like that. But I am of the subscription service that says we don't have to be family. You sharing a little bit of blood with me means nothing to me if you're a bad person or if you're not a good person for me. If it's an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship, it's emotionally, physically, or mentally taxing, we don't have to be related. I am not a person that's going to subscribe to that's your family member, so you therefore have to put up with whatever BS and drama comes with them. We don't have to be related. That's just where I'm at. That's the subscription service that I subscribe to. So if you're one of those people where you feel like family drama needs to stay within the family, feel free to leave. You don't have to listen to the story time. I do have to blow my nose though. I apologize in advance. My allergies are acting up. It is raining here in Miami, and the pressure from just whatever is built up when it starts raining messes with my allergies. I'm gonna give you guys a second before I get started to get you some wine. I have started drinking because I was like halfway done telling the story and then my camera started tweaking, which is so annoying. But I digress. Please go get your wine, come back, pause it, let's sip and let's talk. I need more wine. Okay, so the two main characters that I'm going to talk about, aside from myself, are two of my cousins. So I'm going to say Cousin June and Cousin July. Starting with Cousin July. Cousin July is my first cousin. We share a grandmother. Cousin June is like my second and a half, third or fourth cousin. We share a great grandmother. And it was my great grandmother and her great grandmother. So however that math works out, that's how I'm related to Cousin June. So me and Cousin June used to be super close. We used to talk all the time, text all the time. Anytime she came to Chicago, because she's not from Chicago, anytime she came to Chicago, we were hanging out. We were just, you know, always a good kiki of a time with Cousin June. Cousin June and Cousin July are both around my age. I have a lot of cousins that are actually really close in age with me, which is kind of nice because you have people that you can actually like hang out with, you know, and we, you know, act a fool together or whatever. But it also comes with a little bit more drama, as opposed to like if my cousins were 10 years older than me. But then we wouldn't be having like as much fun as we do, right? Because there would be that age gap. So I have a lot of cousins that are close in age. So me and cousin June used to be super close, super cool. I stopped talking to cousin June around my 23rd birthday. So this is what happened, and I'm gonna try to make it short. Cousin June was supposed to be coming to Chicago for my 23rd birthday. I was planning on having a house party for my birthday, and I was also releasing an album. So I was gonna do a 2-for-1 combo, celebrate my birthday, play my album, have an album release party, and it was just gonna be good times. Cousin June and I had been talking for months about her coming to Chicago to celebrate my birthday with me. Fast forward to maybe like 2 or 3 days before the party, both of my parents get to tweaking on me. They don't want all these people in the house. What time are these people gonna be leaving? Is there gonna be drinking and just blah 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 blah. Mind you, I'm turning 23, so I can drink if I want to. Mind you, I had already asked them at least a month prior to the event, at least a month, right? They told me as long as I cleaned up and I bought whatever I needed, I could do it. Now it's 2 or 3 days before and y'all are telling me I need to cancel it or I need to find someplace else to have it, and just like they were stressing me out, right? I specifically remember being on the phone with my mom. She was going off, talking all crazy, and cousin June called me. I didn't answer, and I think I texted her saying like, I'll call you back. I don't recall, so don't hold me to that, but I know she called me and I didn't answer. Okay, so before this point, I know for a fact I had texted cousin June and I was all stressed out. And I don't know if we had talked on the phone earlier, but I was super stressed out. I'm like, I don't know if I can have the party here anymore. My parents are tweaking, blah, blah, blah. And then my parents, and they kind of irritate me with this, they tag team. So one of them calls me, the other one calls me. I'm still on the phone with the other one calls me. And then they start like, why don't you call me back? And I'm like, bro, I'm still on the phone with your spouse. And then the other one's calling, and it's like, so they drive me nuts sometimes. So I remember either texting or talking to cousin June, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this party. They're stressing me out. They're saying I can't have it in the house, blah, blah, blah. I'm on the phone with my mom. Cousin June calls me. I'm pretty sure I texted her. But nonetheless, at some point I text her again and I'm like, what's your ETA for you coming to Chicago? Normally she would take the train and I would pick her up. So I'm like, what's your ETA? She responds and says, I'm not coming. You didn't answer the phone when I called you and my ride left, or I told my ride to leave, something of that sort. And it was just like, it was giving you were never coming to me, because in my head, first of all, I'm thinking you're taking the train because you always take the train. At no point in time did cousin June tell me that she was getting in the car with somebody. Nonetheless, we have been talking for months about you coming up here for my birthday. So I don't understand why me not answering one phone call, because it's not like she called me 2 or 3 times, she called me once. I don't understand why me not answering one phone call justifies you not coming at all. And then she wasn't even trying to find like another way to get to Chicago. It wasn't like, oh, let me look at train tickets or let me try to figure something else out. It was, you didn't answer the phone, so my ride left and I'm not coming. And I'm like, huh? Because even if I didn't have the house party, it was still my birthday. We still could have went out downtown, drank, had a good time, celebrated my birthday. And then the fact that like there was no apology and you were more or less blaming me for you not coming, I just didn't like that. So I didn't go off on cousin June. I just stopped talking to her. And I stopped talking to her for a good little minute, but there was never an argument. My camera's getting ready to die. Quick side note, because the battery in the camera dies way quicker than it takes to charge the battery. The battery probably takes 90 minutes to charge, and you don't get 90 minutes worth of camera footage out of the battery, but I digress. So anyway, I stopped talking to cousin June. There was never an argument. Kind of a side note, but it all kind of plays into it. Cousin July and I have always lived very close to one another. Our homes were within walking distance because now I'm in Miami. I would always see cousin July at my grandma's house just randomly in the summer, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July. My life is a lot more integrated with July than June. I'm saying that to say July and I argue all the time. We have had several big blowout arguments where we're not talking to the other, and we don't talk for months. I think we've gone a year and not spoken to the other. I threatened to call the police on July. So this is what happened, side note. She was texting me talking all crazy. I blocked her. The next thing I know, she starts texting me off an email. I blocked the email. She texts me off another email, and I'm like, bro, if you text me off another number or another email, I'm calling the police. You know, so I'm saying this to say, cousin July and I, although our lives were more integrated, we've had bigger, badder fights, arguments, not speaking to the other. And as soon as we get over my grandma's house and start drinking and eating and talking and laughing, we get over it. We don't ever need to sit down and have a conversation about it. 9 times out of 10, we don't even remember what the issue was, and we just get over it because we're family, we're close in age, and we're cool. So fast forward a couple of years, June and I hadn't talked for a while. She comes to my grandma's house, similar situation. We're eating, we're drinking, me and her start talking. We then hung out that night. And I don't remember, it was either like Juneteenth or Father's Day or one of those like holidays. So we had gone downtown. We, in my mind, got over it. Like, we didn't need to necessarily sit down and have a conversation and hash it out. We just kind of got over it. We're drinking, we're talking, we're laughing. We're kind of like, and we're not like super close like we were, but we're cool, right? So fast forward a little bit more. Cousin June and I are following each other on social media. We're DMing back and forth a little bit on Instagram. We're liking each other's posts. I feel like I gave her my number and told her to text me, but so we had each other's numbers. We're texting back and forth. We're talking on the phone a little bit here and there. I'm thinking we're cool. My graduations for my MBA was last year, Cinco de Mayo. And it was in the city where cousin June lives. So cousin June comes to my graduation. We take pictures. She comes to my graduation dinner. Graduation was on a Friday. Saturday, cousin June links back up with us again. It was me, my mom, my cousin July, and my friend. June links up with us again the next day. We go out. She picks a restaurant. We're eating and drinking. My mom had paid for dinner. And I'm thinking we're cool. Mind you, I was in the car with cousin June on the way to the restaurant for my graduation weekend. At no point in time did she say that there was a problem that we had. I'm thinking we're cool. Fast forward, we have the family reunion at the end of every July. Again, I'm with cousin June, cousin July, whoever else is there. She says nothing to me. We're hanging out, we're drinking, we're laughing. She says nothing. So this is where the issue then comes in, because I'm thinking cousin June and I are cool. If we have an issue and you don't let me know, we don't have an issue. You have an issue, right? That's how that works. Closed mouths don't get fed. You're not giving me an opportunity to mend or fix whatever you feel like the problem is if you're not going to tell me that there's a problem. I'm thinking we're cool. Okay, boom. Maybe like 2 weeks ago, she's like, hey, I'm coming down to Miami. And I'm like, huh? Like, what are you coming down here for? And not that I didn't want to hang out with her or anything, but it was just kind of like random, you know? She's like, oh, it's June's birthday, so we're coming down there. And I'm like, oh, cousin June hasn't said anything to me about it. Y'all were gonna come down here and not say nothing, like I'm kind of joking or whatever. And July was like, I'm telling you right now. And I'm like, you're right. Maybe I'll just reach out to cousin June and, you know, extend an olive branch or whatever. So this was last week, and I'm going to insert screenshots on this side of the screen. I am going to cover up personal information, right? So I text cousin June, and I need to pull up my phone just to make sure that I get it correct, right? But it was very cordial. I say, word on the street is you come into my city, with the looky eye emojis. I get no response. Okay, fine. And I'm not thinking nothing of it. Oh, pause. So there have been plenty of times where June has come to Chicago and not said anything to me. I'm not thinking nothing of it, because usually when I would see her post, she was with her friends from college, and she has friends that live in the city. And I'm one of those people where, like, if you come in town and I don't see you, you got plans, your weekend is booked, I'm not gonna trip. I have a friend, I'll call her Asia. My friend Asia is like that. We grew up together, went to school together. There's plenty of times where she'll be in Chicago and be so booked and busy that we just won't be able to see each other. And she just won't even say anything because she knows she's coming in and is booked and busy. And I don't trip about it. So June will come to Chicago, be with her friends in the city. I'm not tripping about it. I'm not feeling no type of way. Me and June communicate, so I'm thinking we're cool. So, like I said, I text June. Word on the street is you're coming to my city. I get no response. This was on like a Wednesday. Friday rolls around, I'm talking to cousin July. I don't recall exactly how the conversation went, but I was like, oh, I need to call June because I texted her and she never responded to me. Like, what's up with that? Cousin July is like, oh, me and June just got into it. And I'm like, got into it for what? We got into it about you. And I'm like, what did you get into it about me for? Like, what did I do, right? So July sends me the messages between her and June. And I'm going to post them here. I am going to leave out some fluff text messages that just really don't have anything to do with anything. But so, July texts cousin June. July is my first cousin. She says that I want her to let me know that she's coming in town. June responds, 8. I might actually block you for texting me that. July thinks it's a joke. June responds, weird because I'm not laughing. You're about to be visiting her if you start causing drama and disturbing my peace. Out the gate, June is tweaking. Because what is your problem? The normal person, if they're in town and they have a relative that's in town, they could be 90 minutes from you, but they're gonna call and say, hey, cousin so-and-so, I'm gonna be in your vicinity. About 90 minutes away, but you know, maybe if you could meet me halfway, we could link up and da-da-da-da. That's what the normal person does, right? So June's response off bat is just like, huh? And to the point that July thought she was joking. And she's like, I don't know what you're laughing about. If you start disrupting my peace, you letting your cousin know that you're gonna be in town is causing drama and like disrupting your peace. Like, what? Mind you, you ain't told me you got a problem with me. So July responds, girl, it ain't that serious. I told her I was going to Miami. She said, with who? I'm grown. I could tell my cousin I'm going out of town. I ain't gotta go. So this is where they kind of have a little fluff back and forth. Cousin July then says, and now it's about to be some drama because you want to act like a weird ass bitch. After crack of dawn on the phone that I paid for. So they have a little bit more fluff. But then she says, this is July to June. You're talking crazy, for one, about my cousin, and for two, making drama and being weird towards your own cousin. When she thinks y'all cool, that's super weird to me. She's referring to me. I think me and June are cool. A little bit more fluff. June sends a long text message. You're right. It's not that serious, but when you start relaying messages, it becomes that serious. It's either not that serious or it is. And if it's not that serious, and clearly you have a bigger issue than what you're even trying to say, because you started off out the gate swinging. I should block you for telling me that our other cousin said to let her know I'm coming in town. Like, just, you don't have an issue, but you have an issue that you're gonna block my cousin for letting me know that y'all are, like, huh? Do you have an issue or do you not? But you clearly have an issue because you're pissed over nothing. Anyway, Cousin June continues. I don't hit her up or hang out with her when I'm in Chicago. Why would I hit her up for my birthday trip? I have zero issues with her, but she has previously done a lot of weird stuff. Never addressed, just weirdly move on, where I keep my distance. I can be a cordial and genuine family member, but I have boundaries. You don't have an issue. I have zero issues. You have several issues that you ain't opened your fat ass mouth to say nothing about, because if you didn't have an issue, you wouldn't have. And my thing is, she could have very easily responded to me like a grown adult and said, hey, yeah, I'm gonna be in your city, but I feel like we should maybe sit down and talk or hash some stuff out before we hang out when I come down there. Simple as that. Mind you, she came to my graduation. There was no problem that she needed to talk about. We hung out at the family reunion. There was no problem that she needed to talk about. And now all of a sudden she's coming down here where I live and there's a problem. And she hasn't addressed the problem with me. And instead of you just texting me and saying, yes, I'm coming, there's something I feel like we should air out or talk about, you run back to Cousin July and you start going off on her. I should block you for telling me that I'm not joking, you're disrupting my peace, but then you don't have an issue with me. Nothing you're saying makes sense. And then for you to run back to Cousin July, like you were finna check her when you could have came and checked me, is weird. But so she continues. Oh, but I'm weird. She doesn't tell me when she comes to Chicago, so why would she come down here and tell me that she's coming? Then she goes on, the same way you woke up to text is the same way I did, and I was very irritated. She then lies and said that I was texting her as if she owed me an explanation. I said, word on the street is you coming to my city, with the looky eye emojis. What are you talking about? At this point, and you're lying and making it a bigger issue than what it ever was. But then you're saying that there's no issue. And I don't understand how me texting you saying, word on the street is you coming to my city, had you waking up irritated. I'm on your mind that heavy that you woke up and started your day irritated. And you think I sent you a text message. You would have thought I texted her like, why didn't you tell me you was coming to my city? Da, 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 da. Well, I sent you a very neutral text message. And you blew it up out of proportion, lied about the way that I texted you, and then said that you woke up angry. But you don't have an issue with me. Which is it? Like, do you see how it's not making sense? None of it's making sense. Because you could have just addressed me from jump. For you to run to my other cousin, July, and you're mad at her because she did the normal thing, and you still have not addressed me. It's very weird. Right? So fast forward, she ends the message saying, you're welcome to relay this message to me as well. And at first I was gonna let it go. I'm like, okay, that's fine. you're weird, you're fake, and I'm done with you. But of course I went off on her. Insert text message here. And this may or may not make me look good. I don't personally care. I'm gonna be honest, right? This is what I responded to her and said. You could pause to read it if you want to. My thing is, you're saying you don't have an issue with me, but you're mad that I know you're coming into town and that I said something to you about you coming to town. You're mad at my cousin. You don't want her to go on the trip anymore. She needs to come visit me because she's disrupting your peace. Bringing me up is disrupting your peace, but you don't have an issue with me. Like, nothing makes sense, right? And like I said, you could have just said this to me. So of course, at first I was just gonna leave it alone. I'm like, you're fake, I would never need to talk to you again. But I went off because I just really felt disrespected, right? Cousin June knows that I live in Miami because I was texting her about it. We were having an exchange back and forth about me moving to Miami. And it wasn't like a long drawn out exchange, but she knows I live in Miami. Cousin June may or may not know that I'm in Miami by myself, but for you to know that I'm in you have to know that I'm in Miami by myself because it's not like my parents came with me. Cousin June had to have known to some extent that I was by myself because it's not like my immediate family members moved with me. My mom and my dad and my brother are still in Chicago. I may or may not have friends down here, but you know for a fact that I have no relatives down here. You knew I moved down here. You know I have no relatives down here. You then planned a birthday trip to come where you know I live at with the intentions of coming to purposely ignore me. That's a slap in the face. And I know some people are going to be like, well, maybe those weren't her intentions. Well, if those weren't her intentions, there are plenty of other locations where there's sunshine and beach that I don't live at. I can only live in one place at a time. You could have gone to Tampa. Tampa is at least 3 hours from here. And so you could have very easily justified why you were in the state and didn't reach out. Oh, you were 3 hours away, so I just figured I wouldn't say anything. Right? You could have gone to California. You could have gone to Mexico. You could have gone Puerto Rico, the Bahamas. You could have gone anywhere other than the very specific city that you know I moved to, and you also know I have no relatives for miles. And then to say that you're trying to be a nice and cordial family member, but you would come 1,200 miles to a city where you know I'm by myself and not say anything to me and ignore me. Not only is it a slap in the face, but it's like a big fuck you. But you're a nice and cordial family member and you don't have any issues with me. You're fake. Like the fakest of fakest people I have ever met. And like I said at the beginning of this, I am not one of those people where we are going to be family just because we're family, or we have to have a relationship because we're family. I will cut you off like a bum on the street and act like you never existed to me before I ever let you be a fake relative to me. And I mean that. You don't have to be a fake relative to me. I promise you. I'm such a nice person. I will leave you alone for the rest of your life before I force you to have to be a fake relative with me. Mind you, whatever this non-issue is, because you didn't tell Cousin July what the issue was, right? You've had ample opportunity to tell me what the issue was. You said nothing to me. You went off on Cousin July. Didn't tell Cousin July what the issue was. And then when I texted her and said my piece about it, because I'm going to say it directly to you because I'm not a child. I'm not afraid to say something to somebody and to make sure we're now on the same page. She ran and snitched to my daddy. Sent the message to it wasn't even 10 minutes after I sent that message and my daddy called me. Why are you cussing people out? I'm like, huh? And he's reading the message verbatim to me, and I'm like, what? Why do you have the message that I just sent to cousin June 10 seconds ago? She sent it to me. Excuse me? So she texts my dad. And I'm like, you're lame. You're a loser. We're 30 at this point. I mean, I'm 28. I think she's 28 or 29. You're a loser. Because why would you text my daddy? Me and my cousin July, my first cousin, we've gotten to full-on blowout arguments. We've never gotten physical, ever. But we'll hit below the belt in a hot second. At no point in time has either of us ran to the other person's parent to snitch. We gonna hash it out with each other. And then if we can't hash it out, we just gonna stop talking. For you to run to my dad is embarrassing, is what it is. You're a snitch and you're 30. Yikes. So after I explained the entire situation to my dad, of course my dad was like, oh. Because none of it makes any sense. It's very left field that you, cousin June, has smiled in my face all this time, hung out with me, and hasn't said nothing to me. But then would come all the way down here, knowing I don't have nobody down here, and ignore me. And then more or less try to go off on my other cousin for letting me know that they were coming, when that's what normal people do. And even my dad was like, well, if she didn't want you to find out, she shouldn't have invited July, because that's your first cousin, and of course she's going to tell you because that's what people do. And I'm like, even still, even if she didn't invite cousin July, as soon as she starts telling other people in the family that she's coming down here for her birthday, they're going to ask about me. Or it could have been where, like, word just got around and, you know, I'm talking to my grandma and my grandma's like, oh yeah, cousin June's coming down there for her birthday. It was going to get back to me regardless. So for you to pick a bone with my cousin July, is crazy. If my grandma had told me you were coming, were you gonna go off on my grandma? If your daddy had told me, were you gonna go off on your daddy? So it just doesn't make sense. And to me, it's giving that, like, she was purposely coming down here to be petty and to just be like, F you. And it just like a big slap in the face. And then because one of my coworkers was like, don't y'all follow each other on social media? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, so how does your cousin June think that you're gonna feel when she is down here and starts posting that she's here and she hasn't said anything to you? Like, that's just another slap in the face. And then I find out, this is why I think that cousin June was just coming down here to be like F you and to just be just disrespectful for no reason. She's only coming down here, from what I heard, for 2 days. Who comes to Miami on a Friday and leaves on a Sunday? Because by the time you get off the plane and get in the Airbnb and wash your ass, it's time for you to pack up your bags and go back. Nobody comes down to Miami, Florida for 48 hours. Hello? So the fact that you're just coming down here, the fact that she's coming down here for such a quick trip is just very weird to me. Nobody does that. Nobody comes 1,200 miles for 48 hours. And you're traveling on a Friday and you're leaving on a Sunday. Nobody does that. And then you invited my other relatives and you got pissed at my other relative. Like, at this point, it was almost like a little family affair, and you're pissed at my other family for being real family members and telling me that y'all were coming. It's just giving that, like, cousin June just like was just doing it out of spite. And it's very weird to me, especially because I'm already knowing she knew I moved down here probably before she planned her birthday trip. I'm almost positive. And if I hadn't moved down here, she for sure knew that I was moving down here before she planned her birthday trip. I might not have physically been down here because I don't know when she started plans, but I'm 99.99% positive that she knew I was moving down here, or I was already down here when she planned her birthday trip. And you invited other relatives, and did you think that July wasn't gonna say anything to me? Like, it's giving like she's a hater, she's spiteful, and I don't have time for that. Also, and because I told cousin June to stay out of South Florida, because really, and I meant it, because if you don't want me texting you, if I'm disrupting your peace, if I'm drama and blah 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 whatever, don't come down here. If you don't ever want to hear from me again, stay out of South Florida. Plus, if we're being quite honest, Miami is for bad bitches and bad bitches only. Cousin June is not a bad bitch. The bitch is doing bad, but she's not a bad bitch. I'm embarrassed to even say that I'm related to somebody who at 30 years old is snitching to my parents. Like, we'll be 50 and you'll be running to my daddy to tell him something I said to you. Like, hello? I pay my own phone bill, I pay my own car note, my car insurance, the bills around here is paid. What did you think you were doing? You thought my dad was gonna take my phone from me or something? And of course my dad, he did say that, like, I shouldn't have cussed her out, I need to be a better representation of myself, blah blah blah. That people will bring you down to their level to try to like make you look stupid or make you look like a bad person, which I agree with. Am I sorry that I went off on cousin June? No. And I told that to my dad. I said I'm not sorry. In fact, I feel better now that she and I are on the same page. Now that there's no confusion about what the relationship is or the lack thereof, I feel better. The other issue that I have with cousin June as of now is that you waited until I checked you to then decide that you wanted to talk. You have this random non-issue that's serious enough of an issue that you're gonna block people and they can't come on the trip no more and they're gonna have to visit me by themselves and blah 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 blah. At no point in time have you said anything to me. Not when you came to my graduation. If you wasn't cool with me, why did you come to my graduation? Why did you sit at my dinner table and take pictures and then link up with us the next day at the family reunion? Why was you drinking and laughing in my face and not saying nothing? Right? Then when I texted cousin Jim, she didn't respond. It ran back to July going off on her. You could have just addressed me. Sorry, my camera died. What was I saying? Oh, she ran back to cousin July and went off on her instead of just texting me back and saying what she needed to say. Now that I've checked you, and now you want to talk. And I don't want to talk. I'm going to put my foot down, make it clear so that we're on the same page and I'm done. I don't need to talk to you because honestly for me, there's nothing that she could say to me that's going to change the fact that I now know she's a fake person. You're not a genuine person. And then for you to say that you're a genuine and cordial family member and for you to come down here and not acknowledge your family member, that's not genuine, nor is that cordial. And all I was trying to do was maybe go grab a drink. I'm not trying to hang out with them. I wasn't trying to get an Airbnb with them. I live here. I go to the beach whenever I feel like. I go to the club, do whatever I want to do whenever I feel like it because I live here. All I wanted to do was maybe see some familiar faces and go grab drinks for an hour or two. Whatever. My point is that there's nothing that she is going to ever say to me that's going to make me feel like she's not a fake person. She's not going to ever beat those allegations. You're fake. The fact that you even ran to my other cousin to make it an issue and to tell my other cousin that you have an issue, but you haven't told me, you're fake. You're fake. And there's nothing that she can say to me that's going to make me believe otherwise. Say by some miracle in a hypothetical world that she was able to convince me that she's not a fake person, I still can't mess with her because she's a snitch. So there's nothing that I need to talk to Cousin June about. I will never talk to Cousin June ever again. When I told Cousin June that if I die first, she better not come to my funeral, I meant it. If we the last 2 living family members at the family reunion, she still better not say nothing to me, because you're fake, you're weak, and you're a snitch. And your 3 strikes is out. And I'm not one of those people, friends, family, or otherwise, I'm not going to play mental gymnastics with you. I'm not going to keep checking your temperature every time I see you to figure out what angle you're coming at me from today. I don't care to do it. So unfortunately, rest in peace to Cousin June, because she no longer exists to me. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. Comment down below, what do y'all think? Am I wrong? Like, at any point in time, did I do anything wrong? Because I really just feel like if she had an issue, did not give me an opportunity to even try to fix it, because she never addressed it. But somewhere in there, and if y'all gonna say I'm wrong for cussing her out, whatever, I will admit that, and I don't care. I'm not changing it. But aside from that, if y'all think I'm wrong, let me know. If y'all think she's wrong or weird, let me know. Is there something that I did that could have led, like, I don't get it. None of it makes sense. But yeah, sorry this isn't like the usual vlog footage that I normally post. Like I said, my camera was messing up and I deleted everything. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm doing thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give it a big thumbs up if you like this type of content. Comment down below, like I said, if you think I'm right or wrong. If you want to see more story times, I could try to pull some out of a hat and tell more story times. Follow me on social media at Sham the Baddest. Make sure you click that link in my description to listen to my music. And other than that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.